Hello, thank you for joining us. We're here talking about the guiding principles. I'm Jaquetta and I'm here with Lynne Forrest. And we are on guiding principle number 4, and that is the law of cycles. So let me just read the version that I have in front of me right here. It says, the law of cycles is energy is circular in motion. It spirals up or down, moves through cycles, and operates in patterns. So that is the short version. Lynn, I know you have a couple other versions there. Would you like to talk about those?
Hi, Jaquetta. Yeah, the guiding principles, we have so many renditions of them because there are so many ways to say these universal principles. And I've sort of devoted different translations to different purposes, as you know, like how do you apply this guiding principle to relationships? How do you apply it when you're parenting? How do you apply it when you're doing your own interpersonal work, blah, blah. And so today, let me read you two others that I have. These are just it's just really an elaboration on what you just said, the guiding principle. That, first of all, just reminds us that patterns that you mentioned that are created from the cycles in life serve to awaken and spiritually refine us. That's their job. That's why the world is cyclic in nature, because we go through this process again and again and again as a refinement process. And the other thing I want to take from another little addition is all energy moves in spirals and circles, and all of our experiences happen in cycles too. And progress on the consciousness journey often means moving through particular life themes and old cyclic patterns to help us awaken and spiritually refine us. Again, there's that refinement tool. That's the whole understanding of what the law of cycles is about. And so that, to me, that's the most important thing, is to understand. And when you understand that everything consists of a polarity, number 3's guiding principle that we talked about last time, when you think about the polarity, well, what's going to happen when you have two ends of something? Here's the one extended out and you've got this end and this end. Well, then it's just going to begin to go up and down, up and down, up and down. It's just going to go round and round. It becomes the cycle. So these two opposites come together in a dance, a cyclic dance, where one leads and the other follows. The other follows, the other leads, and the original follows. And so that's the cycle that begins to happen, and we see it in everything, right?
That is so true. I was just thinking, we see that in our planet, the way it orbits, it cycles it orbits the sun and the moon, orbits the earth, and all the cycles of the seasons. And I mean, from the big grand scheme of things down to the little tiny life cycles of, plants and animals and just everything. So I think it's interesting because it also works in like our core belief cycle.
Exactly. Yeah. You're talking about the cycle. It occurs to me that it is with the cycle. When the polarities begin to cycle, then that creates the illusion of time. That's really what time is. It's just that cycle going up and down and round and round and round. And and as it does that, we experience the whole concept of time. Time is moving on. We're going somewhere. And in reality, we are going up and down, round, and what goes up and down will go round and round like a wheel. And everything is based on that. Everything, as you said, the way the sun circles, or the earth circles the sun, and the way the planets move through, and how our astrology charts are based on moving through the planets, and our cycle of birth all the way to old age and death, and returning to that fetal position again, and the birthing and death and dying of all things, and the seasons of the year. And it is also true interpersonally, that we have this polarities that come together, this part of us that knows who we are, remembers who we are, that never really enters the whole fray of falling for this illusion that we put on here as our own particular story, as we play that story out. But it also, we have that part of us that does get really involved in it and really does identify with it and plays it out to the hilt. And we have both of those parts of us. And that part of us that plays it out to the hilt is the part of us that's on the wheel of, as the Buddhists call it, the wheel of suffering, you know, that goes round and round. And to me, it's like if you could stop that wheel and you put at the top, you put the high frequency uh, divinity triangle, that the higher self, the triangle that involves the Trinity. If you put that at the top and understand that's the highest frequency possible for us as offshoots of the one mind, and then at the bottom is the lower triangle or the victim triangle, which is the part of us that gets totally identified with the story. And these two are going to rotate. Well, there will be times when we really, really remember who we are, and we know that we're not this smaller version that we want to believe we are, at other times when that lower triangle comes up the top, and that's what's on the surface, and that's what's running us, and we're reacting out of that. And how it is we just go round and round. But wheels, as you know, were created to go somewhere, to progress, to move forward. And so on the wheel of life, it's more of a vertical ascension where we're going up, and it becomes a spiral rather than a circle. It becomes where we are spiraling up, and we are moving up through the frequencies vibrationally, so that we become more and more aware and more awake. So that this cycle that we go through, our life theme, it is part of what we come here to experience. It is not an aberration. It's not like, oh, well, something bad happened to me and it totally threw me off course. No, this being thrown off course is part of the course. And so really, when we begin to get that, then instead of spending time feeling like a victim of these cycles, we begin to go, oh, I'm just in the cycle, and now I'm at the top of the cycle, and now I'm at the bottom of the cycle, and what can I learn from either and both places? And how can I use that to wake up, to become more and more conscious? That becomes more the goal.
And I think also with, for me, I know that our relationships have cycles. And so that when you know that, and when you're aware that there is a cycle, a natural rhythm to relationships, especially personal ones, and we get to know our own personal cycle, when we get to a place where it feels like you're really fed up, or you're at a place of frustration in your relationship, just knowing that it's part of the cycle helps you know that, you know, hang on, it's going to get better here. We're going to do this thing and then it'll get better. And so that you don't have to break it off and start a new cycle somewhere else because you like the beginning part of the relationship, but not necessarily in the middle when things get kind of real, you know, intense. And so,
yeah, which are the moments when we're in the trenches. Those are the moments and when we're really learning the most, really.
yeah.
When we're in the middle of our cycle, and really in the hard part, when the wheel is turning down,
Right.
and we feel like we're down under it.
And that could go for any part of life, I think, not just relationships, but that's just a simple kind of example because it's pretty obvious. But also when we, like with career and in life in general, when you get to these stages that feel really hard or feel like I'm never going to get through this, or it's always going to be like this, and it's so hard, just to know that it's part of a cycle, and this is part of growing. It's part of becoming who you were supposed to become, you know, are supposed to become. Yeah,
exactly. These cycles are an integral part of our journey. They're innate, and they are natural, and they are going to happen. We're not doing something wrong when we have our ups and downs in life. The downs are as important as the ups, if not more so. If we just felt good all the time, then we wouldn't be that motivated to grow. It's when we get uncomfortable, that's when the motivation to really look at what's going on and what can I do here, and how can I move myself up and forward from this place. That's when we get really motivated. And so the down points on the cycle are really, really important places to go.